They have a lot of data, but they do not have the tools and expertise to compete with these big chains. Retailers feels that they don't have the data. They do have the data for many decades. You cannot replace the human relationships, but how can you know your customers better and then also understand their behavior? You don't need to trust the machine, trust the data, trust the human connections. See food sales, buy AI suggestions, and within 90 days, they grew to the 350,000, but now they're up to 1 million. Money comes with the problems. Unless you have a passion to support the industry, this is not for your business.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the E-commerce Coffee Break podcast. Today we're tackling a challenge every independent retailer knows, competing with giants like Walmart. It's tough out there, but AI is giving smaller retailers a real chance to grow, boost loyalty, and uncover hidden revenue. To show us how, I'm joined by Ravi Achanta. He is the CEO and co-founder of RSA America. He helps local retailers use AI to drive growth and customer loyalty. With over 25 years in tech and entrepreneurship, Ravi's mission is simple: make powerful retail tools easy and practical for independent stores. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. Hi, Ravi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Klaus. Thanks for having me here. And I'm glad to be part of this episode.
So let's start simple. Why do small and independent retailers struggle to keep up with the big chains like Walmart?
Well, it's very simple. The small chains obviously do not have the bigger teams like the Walmart, like the Target and whatnot, but they do serve the communities like, completely different from Walmart. So when you walk into the corner store, when you walk into the smaller independent, most of the time they know you who you are because you have been shopping with your small kids all the way your kids are grown up to the high school level. So that's the difference between these two grocery independent versus the big mega chains. And the struggle is that they do not have the tools available. They do not know how to leverage the data they have. And if you look at some of these retailers are running their grocery chains for the generations. Today, we have some of the retailers, they're third generation people are running the stores. They have a lot of data, but they do not have the tools and expertise to compete with these big chains.
Mm-hmm. Now, AI is obviously leveling the field there. We know that Amazon and the big retailers, they have huge data scientist departments and they have all the resources they need to filter out the last out of the data. But now with AI, there's help for smaller retailers. As an independent sitting on the data they have, they don't even realize how can they grow their business with the data they already have?
Right. So a lot of times the retailers feels that they don't have the data. They do have the data. Every data is in their POS trapped for many decades. So today, when it comes to the AI, the biggest challenge is that these bigger chains have, as you said, and hundreds of thousands of people working on the data day in, day out to bring what to do. But what we did in Independence is AI is a simplicity. You cannot replace the human relationships, but how can you bring the data to 4-5 simple things? Know your customers better, and then also understand their behavior, and also how to price optimization. And is it all about the discount? Is it about loyalty? So these are the patterns you like to understand. And what we built is a simple, actionable insight. Start with automation, then apply the AI, rather than saying that AI is a big thing, we cannot afford it. So we brought it to the simple. As you log into the our AI portal, you clearly see 5, 6, 7, 8 items, actionable items, which is simple, and start smart and start small, and then grow into the in-depth personalization and other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of our listeners are coming from the brick and mortar store world and probably are running a small online store or looking into e-commerce. Now, when it comes to customers coming in the store, as you said, there is data already there. They might have different systems in the background. Talk me through an example how a brick and mortar store or retailer approaches a step into the new world of data and AI.
Yeah, so an example that in a brick and mortar store, either you have the customer coming online or coming to the store and or buying through these marketplace applications today. So we help the retailers to understand that is the one unique customer interacting with you multiple channels. And then you need to learn from that what they're buying, when they're buying, and what channel they prefer to buy. And then this AI can help you. That means like, is it a loyalty is important, or a discounts are important, or other product mix is important. And then if you look at some of the, we have the national largest Hispanic chains using our technology. So if you notice that California, for example, or now the Spanish people are like fourth generation kids. So the way you marketed in the first generation, second generation is not going to work for the third and fourth generation people. Mm-hmm. So the AI is going to, but the traditional grocers think that, hey, this is how we communicated over decades with the Hispanic population, but that's not true with the latest generation. So the AI can simplify and that, how to communicate, when to communicate, what to communicate. And then those simple actionable items are going to help retailers to really leverage the data. And also its most important piece is missing is brick and mortar stores. They don't work with the brands directly. They feel like, I negotiated with my brand, but brand also wants to communicate to the shoppers. So now we are bridging not only the same by using the AI with the brand and the retailer and the consumer. So that's the beauty of it, just bridging that gap.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even have that on the list, and it makes perfectly sense. I mean, you as a small retailer become more attractive to a brand because one of a sudden you can really deliver data that the brand is looking for. So that's brilliant. I've never thought about that. Now, is there any kind of myths or any kind of reasons that are holding small retailers back from going full online, full AI, full data driven? What's the common reasons for them to not do it?
The biggest thing is that is a fear of the technology, number one. And hey, can I trust the machine? That's why we always said, like, well, you don't need to trust the machine unless you trust the data. So trust the data, trust the human connections. And so bring the human relationships and use the technology to serve them better. So most of the time we work with the owners or the decision makers of these small independents. And we did a lot of A and B tests. And now that they trust the people, what thought process behind the AI. And we brought the data into the pictures, do the small things together. An example I can give is one of the pilot was a year ago. Hey, they have naturally their loyal customers are contributing 80% of their revenue. And then when AI is saying that, by the way, this is only 4% of your top loyal customers are buying the meat from you. They never realize that. They never realize, is it true? Well, it is true. Here is the basket. Here are the people. Their basket size is over $100. But if you look at the meat, it's only 4%. So that opened up wait a minute. So we've been promoting meat just like any other retailers in the neighborhood, and we're giving best discounts. We have the best cuts, and everything is right. Seems to be right, but why your top loyal customers are contributing only 4% of your meat sales? So that means then we went further down. Okay, so what it makes sense to get these people buy more meat? So it's pairing the product correctly and pairing the options correctly for them, which makes sense for them. And then also communication is a broad communication to the 750,000 shopper versus segment of these 10, 15,000 shoppers is differently make them really successful. So now they're increasing 7 to 8, 9% slowly. And that means it's a double within 90 days. So that's interesting that, you walk with them rather than say, hey, AI. And the second biggest fear is the cost. Obviously that, everybody's reading the news on the AI, the AI data centers, all these technologies is affordable. So a lot of people are not even thinking, oh, you know what? I don't think it's for me because it's expensive. I cannot afford it. So it's a constant education we are doing. We are hosting a small round tables with a few retailers together, educating them. Hey, you don't need to spend millions of dollars, by the way. You start with small, this one, and then, understand your customer. You already have a customer base, but you need to understand them better. Like, and I given the example of this, Hispanic community is like, hey, you cannot communicate to every customer the same passion, right? So that was the biggest thing. And then we have a very forward looking grocers who's adapted AI. And then those case studies are helping. It's a beauty of this independent community class is that they try to help each other. It's not like they compete each other. They love to help each other. So we are part of NGA, we are part of IGA. And then the beauty is that, customers are, they, they're not, what do you call, fear to share their success story with the other retailers, which is that we are glad to be part of that ecosystem. And a lot of times you see, I don't want to say anything, I don't want to share anything, but this community is different. This community is very different. So that is the only fear I would say, hey, it cannot be affordable. I don't want to be online, or it's too much work, or these are the type of things, but it's evolving. So for us, it's a 20% growth every year over year. People are coming online more and more.
Yeah. Now, I love the approach that you learn as a company, providing them from what they learn. So it's a constant learning from both sides, and that makes your product better and serve them better. Now, give me an example on how it looks for the customer. Obviously, there's a mobile app to it as a front end. How does that look?
Yeah. So for the consumer side, it's a mobile app and web mobile app and everything. That's a consumer's use. And then the way we designed is if you look at the Kroger, if you look at the Walmart, and then way back when we designed better than them, honestly speaking, so, because keeping the consumer in mind. So what makes easy for the consumer, and why they should open your app, why they should shop at your store, things like that. So then we enable the administration portal on the web for the retailers. So when they log in, clearly they see, okay, this is how my store is today, whether it's online, whether it's offline. And then I see my customers and how they're shopping, what my baskets are, all that stuff. And then they have one section right on the homepage, actionable insights. These are the 5 things you need to pay attention to it. An example, hey, this category of sales are coming down compared to last week or last month. What's wrong with it? Is that a promotional strategy needs to be changed, or and things like that. So now with the AI, it is giving an actionable, not only the report, it's giving an action. By the way, these are the 5 things we recommend to promote to this segment of customers. And then we recommend, change this price to this SKU and also pair this product with this product. And then sometimes it's unreal. We have one of the largest customer. They have CEO merchants sitting in the AI, reviewing the AI. And then it said, well, meat with the red cabbage promotion you should do. I said, what? They said, meat with red cabbage. Everybody said, what red cabbage? We never done that before. Obviously, you never done that before. This is why it is recommending with the meat with the red cabbage promotion, pairing those 2 products was a eye-opening for them. And he said, AI suggested 50% red cabbage for discount with the pound beef. But the merchant said, I can give 80% discount on the red cabbage. That means here you go. Now you know the cost, but now AI is telling you why they wanted to pay this way. It is based on whatever they know, the recipe based and the way you cook the meat and things like that. But now you know the cost of the red cabbage. You're saying that 50% discount, but you're saying I can give 80% discount because red cabbage is coming for pretty cheap for them. So these examples were unbelievable, the way AI is suggesting. And we have another customer in New York, and they are known for the seafood. They say that we are the best in the town. They sell a lot of seafood sales. But interestingly, the AI segmented a few thousand shoppers. Probably 20, 30,000 shoppers, saying that they're not buying the seafood at all. They are not buying the seafood at all. Of course, that is a small percentage, right? So 25,000 out of 350,000 loyal shoppers is a small sect. And they never paid attention. Okay, my top line sales of seafood is great. My loyal customers are buying the seafood. But when they look at this 25,000, AI is saying that, hey, if you do this, probably these people will buy the seafood from you. And then they're targeted just for that segment by AI suggestions. And within 90 days, they grew to the 350,000 sales on the 25,000 people, which is a very small, but now probably they're up to 1 million. They never bought the seafood from them, some reason, whatever the reason it is. And with the pairing and pricing and the discounts and frequency of the communication to those people by AI is like, so now they are like running frequently in the sense like they're completely automated. They're completely automated. For these 25,000 people, I have these communications, this much budget left, and I let AI run. Every week it runs, it gives them an actionable insight. Hey, this is what it performed, and then I want to tweak these things, which is they made their life so easy today. And these are the insights which retailers are trying to take an advantage now from the other retailers.
Mm-hmm. I can totally understand that. As frightening AI sometimes seems, it has so many benefits to it and so many surprising outcomes to it that it just makes sense to put it in. And again, it helps to have a personal relationship to your customer. Now, the AI is building this relationship depending on the customer. I want to go a little bit more on the technology side of things. Obviously, the retailers have different tech stacks there. Your system, what kind of APIs and systems do you support to make it work?
Yeah, so what we did is, first of all, that we built a database which can consume the data from different sources, and from the point of sale, from online sales, from the a third party marketplace application. So all this data is coming into the centralized database, and then you have a loyalty number attached to it. It's the unique identifier of the shopper, and then we have these algorithms, right? The AI algorithms which trained for that retailer rather than training across we have 1,400 stores and then 6 million shoppers. So rather than training across 6 million shoppers, we train the models for their set of data. And we also at the same time, we train a broader level across, like if you look at the General Mills, if you look at the P&G products, what that model is saying about those products. But we predominantly train the local shoppers' data, and then that gives them a very specific to their demographics, their customer data, and typically 18 to 24 months worth of data. That's where we use it to train the model. And then start with, again, simply started using the ML initially, so machine learning data, and then eventually gradually converting into the AI fully. Mm-hmm. So this is it's a not heavy lift. You just, we have the APIs, or even we have the Excels, the CSV based files, we dump it into secure data, whatever the FTP, and we consume it. However, the data is, we are taking the heavy lift out of it. So let's pump the data into the database so that we can train the model.
Mm-hmm. Brings me to my next question in regards of onboarding. You said I can come with my spreadsheets and you will help there. What's the typical onboarding process? How long does it take?
So the onboarding is some customers are using already our loyalty solution. For them is a plug and play. And then some customers not using our loyalty or e-commerce. And then for them is typically 2 weeks to pipe the data in and then start mapping the algorithms. So 2 weeks to onboard, 2 weeks to do the A&D, and then bring them comfortness to the retailers. Hey, how is it? Do you see versus basically testing our human intelligence with the AI, and then make sure that we blend them together, not losing the human relationships especially in the communication aspect. The communication to the consumer is changing with AI, right? The personalization come in play. So now you have instead of giving you, here is the flyer as you walk into the store, hey, this is our front page, this is our back page, everybody is the same. But now that, with this segment of customers, it's a front page is changing. So as they open the app, they see that they're different things, and you see your front page. I see my front page is totally different. Could be some common items there. So the timing of the communication also changing. Like previously, they used to send in one email Wednesday, one push message on Saturday, or one in the middle. But now it's changing based on you may be shopping on Friday, I may be shopping on Sunday, somebody in the middle of the week. So based on your shopping patterns and when you're shopping, what time are you shopping? That means that tells a lot about you. You don't want to be getting to the rush hour to do the shopping with the thousands of people in the store. Maybe So that is also helping a lot with these retailers because of the model is trained just on their database. So whether it's a 3,000 neighborhood shoppers or a entire geographic Chicago, like northern suburbs versus southern suburbs. So their demographics, their data, and that way it's a very very model is like easy to train.
Now, a lot of our listeners might ask is like, how much time do I have to invest in maintaining the system and running the system? How does that look on a day-to-day basis?
That's a great question, because this is another thing is not only the retailers do not have a lot of teams. Biggest question always ask is, hey, how much time I need to spend on a daily, weekly basis? So we say on a weekly basis, probably 2 hours. And then the daily basis, 2 to 3 hours, the max daily basis, because you spend a good 1 hour or 1.5 hour in the during the week or beginning of the week or end of the week to see what's happening, and then look at the data, look at the report, look at all the traction, look at the suggestions, and then you said, okay, you approve, disapprove, or what, or modify the AI suggestions and run it. And then daily basis, you just log into the system and see if you have any reds or yellow, amber, or whatever to pay attention to it. And then sometimes you go in the middle. Most of the time it's like a very rare, but sometimes it can be, let's say you're running a flash sale on Tuesday, because that's what AI suggested, that's what you thought is the right thing to do. But all of a sudden, Tuesday is climate says there is going to be a rain all day. And then that means you be more to start altering a little bit on that because of the weather pattern is there, right? So these are the 5-10 minute changes, and then in this case, flash sale, I asked if Tuesday flash sale is going to be still there, by the way, but it will extend it to the Wednesday also. Like you see, sometimes Kroger, Walmart say, hey, by the way, we have 2 days sale now this week. Why? It's supposed to be 1 day, but now extended to 2 days. With the digital tools today, you can do that. So that is what the time they need to pay attention to. Is it in my system is running smoothly, or because of the weather patterns, whatever it is, I need to modify a little bit or not? So I would say that the 2 to 3 hours is a good enough time to watch. That's the beauty of AI. If you are spending 40 hours, but you don't need AI, then
I think 2 to 3 hours is absolutely doable, and it's probably less time than you spend with your external marketing agency on working on a new flyer or something like that. And the outcome probably is tons of better than anything you can do in the old-fashioned way. Now tell me, who's your perfect customer?
So we have the one store operator way back when we started, because our passion is about serving every independent. Don't leave any independent behind. That's our motto. But ideal customer base today being like a 25 to 50 store chain, and but we still have a lot of couple of hundred 1 to 5 store chains, and then there are great operators. We love to help them. We still work with them, and just like we work with the 25 or 50 store chain. But our largest customer has 155 stores. So but the philosophy of the RSA behind the scenes is the same. We work with them, the 1 store operator or 200 store operator, the same way. So we dedicate our time. Each customer has their own dedicated customer service and technical support. So the way we are a small team, but the way we brought the AI tools is to help them. The example of the weekly ads, you said, working with the agencies, third-party agency, it brought up a good point of that. So before AI, before this, looking at the data-driven decisions, retailers used to spend bring all the buyers into the room and bring all the previous ads, and each buyer will bring the product movement data in an Excel. Hey, I sold with this price, this much, this price, that. That's a constant, a day worth of time with the tens of people to create an ad. Now, the AI is giving you, hey, this is our recommendation based on this, based on the inventory, based on the pricing, based on the past, last year, this week, what happened, this year, what happens, and this year, what's the weather predictions are, prices are, and all that. Based on that, it will split and give you each buyer by category, give you an Excel spreadsheet. You modify as you see fit. So now it's like a 30 minutes conversation. Everybody they still come to the room, but they say, hey, I reviewed this based on these reasons, and then this is what the price of the product is, and this should be on the front page, this should be on the inner page, whatever it is, and within 1 hour, they're done.
Yeah, I think it's a completely no-brainer to go the route with AI to help there. I've spent a ton of time in the United States, and I always got with small retailers like the flyer was like, I don't know, baby stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's definitely something I wouldn't buy. So it's just a waste for everyone. And getting the right information in the right moment, as you mentioned, that's the way to go. Tell me about your pricing structure. How does that work? How do you charge?
So it is a SaaS based per store so that the reason we came up with that model is it's based on the size of the store slightly, because we have to be mindful of their revenues, their profits, and whatnot. So we came up with the SaaS base, so there is no upfront heavy lift. Hey, by the way, we're going to do this data consulting to bring all your data to set up and all that stuff. So we charge a very bare minimum, it's quick setup cost, and that varies from $2,500 to $5,000. And then afterwards, as you use the system, it's a monthly SaaS fee. So that store per month basis. And typically that, the most of our customers today is, we are glad that, this is one thing helped me also based on my past history and my family grow up. How do I grow up when I was a kid? So we started giving them so much support, so much thing to this independence over the years. Now they're giving back to us. So if you look at the giving back in many ways, so they're publicly vocal about talking about RSA. That's one good thing. And then B is they have no fear of signing the, if I say a 3-year contract, no problem. We want you to be the lifetime partner rather than worry about the 3-year or 5 years. So we have no issues on that. That means it's what do you call this? Relationship with our retailers became much stronger and stronger because of based on the trust we built in the early days.
Yeah, I think trust is the most important thing for smaller retailers when they do business with someone, and that's definitely given with your solution. Ravi, before we come to the end of the coffee break today, is there anything you want to share with our listeners that we haven't covered yet?
So one thing I want to share that I never told anybody else, because when we started this passion, so I grew up in agriculture and then became a technologist because I was an agriculture family. My partner is also grew up in the restaurant family and became the marketing graduate from Wharton. And then when we started this one, we saw the biggest opportunity as a business, because the retailer independent sector is a $350 billion market share in the United States, and 20,000 independents out there, 20,000 independent stores out there. And there is a big gap in the digital transformation, right? So a lot of companies reached out to us as we are making our way up hey, we like to invest into your company and we like to put 5 million, 2 million, whatever over the period. Then we realized one thing that, we are about to take money from one VC company. I don't know or name it, but so when we're ready to take the money, then we realize one thing, which is money comes with the problems. Of course, money needed to scale the company as well. But can we fulfill the retailer needs and then this VC needs? Then 2 days later, I realized that I don't think I can justify both of them. Then we said, okay, I know politely, and we're still friends with those of that VC company out of St. Louis. And then, hey, I'm so sorry, but I'm allowed to take your money, but I'm afraid that I can fulfill your obligations. And then we're so happy about it, and we did not take that money because this industry is a very slow, but a very passionate. Unless you have a passion to support the industry, or unless you can invest your valuable time with the retailers, be patient with them, work with them. Otherwise, this is not for you. This is not for your business. And then that's the reason we put every store, every single store, 1,400 locations across the United States. We've been to the store to train the store, train the people, train the staff, and then constantly every other year, probably we go back to the store again. And every month we talk to them. Every quarter we review the data. So that's where kept us today. We call it a fastest growing company in the independent sector.
I like that story. I know we can possibly do a complete story about how to deal with investors and venture capitalists and whatsoever, but that's a story for another time. Ravi, where can people go and find out more about you guys?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Where can people go and find out more about RSA America?
Oh, so we have our website, rsaamerica.com. That's then we have a, clearly call to actions, contact us, and then we immediately go and talk to them. That's the most best way to reach out to us. And if there are partners, a lot of partners out there with IGA, NGA, they all know about RSA America. So it's a lot of customers come through NGA, IGA as well. But we have the www.rsaamerica.com. That's you can see a lot of case studies are down there and what our customers are saying about it. And then that's the best way.
Cool. I will put the link in the show notes, then you're just one click away and people can find you easily. Ravi, thanks so much for your time today. I think there's a lot of listeners who are really curious now to find out more and how they can implement this in their own business. And I hope a lot of contacts will reach out to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.